Hello, Flames, and welcome to another edition of the Forever Aflame podcast. I'm your host, Carman, Lastoria, the Director of Alumni and Donor Relations, and today we are pleased to be joined by Jodi Schaffer. Jodi, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Jodi, you graduated from Lee what year?
December of 2004.
December of 2004, and you are a lawyer in Chattanooga by trade, and you are also a member of the Hamilton Board of Education, and a mom and a wife and so many other things. So we're going to dive in and talk a little bit about your story and your journey. So let's start with what brought you to Lee University. So you graduated in December of 2004. So you started, right, what 2000 is right around there is when you came?
Fall of 2001.
Okay.
I was on the short path.
So fall of 2001, you were smarter than me. You got done pretty quickly. So fall of 2001, what brought you to Lee?
Well, being a Church of God pastor's daughter,
Yeah.
Lee was always a big part of our life. Voices and campus and Lee singers always coming to the church. So I've always known about Lee. My father attended Lee and played basketball here.
Yep.
He's a vintage Viking. So Lee's been a part of our family for my entire life. And so there was no doubt in my mind, that's where I'm going. I didn't entertain going anywhere else, even in Chattanooga, Chat State, UTC. No, Lee was it. My older brother came before me.
Okay.
So it was just the thing to do.
Right. I have a similar, my brother came down. We're 17 months apart, and so he came down, and so I naturally followed him down, and I'm glad, certainly glad I did. So you get on campus. Was there a moment your freshman year or a moment just in particular that sticks out to you as a real significant moment, as a moment in your life, whether it was a conversation with a professor or being a part of a group, or what are some things that stand out that say, man, that really enriched my experience?
I would even say before I became a student, when my brother was a student,
Okay.
I would come up and visit, and he was a part of the Greek Club Society. So I got a little taste of it even before I came. And then when I came, and I was a part of the Lee University Singers.
Yes.
So that was the biggest part of my experience here at Lee. And the Lord really used that in my life.
And Dr. Malden was directing
Yes,
at the time,
Dr.
right?
Malden.
So tell us a little bit about Dr. Malden. Many of our Lee alums will know, of course, know Dr. Malden and all business, but boy, he loved the Lee Singers and did a great job directing that group for so many years.
He did. He was all business, but he had a fun side too. So he did a great job directing us, and I enjoyed, in those days, even his wife, Miss Penny, who was a professor here. Mm-hmm. So I want to give her honor.
Yes.
Because even though she wasn't with us and traveling with us, she was still a part of the Lee Singers and the family that we created there.
Any cool stories from road trips that you went on, or churches that you guys visited, or places you went as a part of the Lee Singers?
I mean, we went to wonderful places. Hawaii, St. Thomas, I think, was my favorite trip.
There you go. Okay. Are the current Lee Singers who are watching this now, they're like, Hawaii, St. Thomas, They're probably beating down the door of Dr. Sheik's like, hey, where are we going,
We had a great time.
Yeah.
But I think one of my favorite is my neophyte year and with Phil Stacy and Kendra Stacy.
Yeah.
Just that relationship there. They were our student leaders at that time, president and student director, and a lot of fun during that time and those memories.
So when Phil made that run, of course, on American Idol, are you voting for him, right? That was pretty cool, huh?
More than that, I was in Jacksonville at law school during the time, and they were living there.
Okay.
Because he was in the military.
Yes.
So they were living there, and I had visited with them during those years of law school. So then he came back on tour, and I was able to go and be at one of the concerts. So that was a lot of fun.
That was great. Yeah, for all of us, we all felt kind of a sense of pride, when you have Phil Stacy and Jordan Smith and those guys make those runs on those shows, and it really, puts Lee on the map, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. What made you decide to go into law?
Well, funny story. I got a speeding ticket
That'll do.
in Atlanta.
Okay.
In the HOV lane. Everybody drives fast down there. So I got a speeding ticket, and I had to go to court in Atlanta. And my dad had to go with me. But when I walked in, there was a female judge.
Okay.
And I looked at my dad and I said, I want her job. So that kind of started me on the path of going to law school. And of course, I took the business law courses as a business administration major. They were required, but I took those and enjoyed them. And so that kind of set me on my path.
Well, that's great. So you're Take us back to 2004 in December. You're getting ready to graduate. So what was the next step? How did you get into your professional career, and what are some of the things you did early on in your professional career?
Well, since I was graduating a semester early by taking the summer courses,
Yeah.
I was able to go work as a runner at law firms in Chattanooga. I didn't know a lawyer in my life.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed to go kind of see what that life was like. And I went, after I graduated, worked down in Chattanooga at a firm that no longer exists. But then from there, just applied and got into law school.
I think one of the things that we pride ourselves here at Lee is this idea of creating Christ-centered and being Christ-centered and doing whatever you do with Christ-centered excellence. You know, a lot of people can go get a law degree from a number of different schools. You can study pre-law in a number of different schools. You can go and be an engineer at a number of different schools, or a nurse, or a teacher. But what to you was most impactful about being at a Christ-centered institution like Lee, and how did you carry that over into your career as a lawyer? And what are some things that you learned, or that you experienced, whether it be in chapel or in classes or with professors, that you said, yeah, this is the type of lawyer I want to be?
Well, I would say, one, the church community that came into Lee, we are a Christ-centered family of God. And so that was just who I was, right? That is just the character of who I am. And then I went to law school, and I went to a fairly liberal law school down in Jacksonville, Florida Coastal School of Law. And my first year, I attended the Christian Legal Society just as a student member. And then towards the end of my first year, they came to me and they were like, hey, you've been pretty outspoken in our meetings. Would you like to be president? So kind of thrown into that. So I became president. I stayed president for the next 2 years of my law school journey. And then coming back into Chattanooga, just knowing, wanting to serve people.
Right.
So I guess that started me serving people by leading Christian Legal Society. And I got my first legal job within the Church of God.
Okay.
So at headquarters, through the stewardship department, we were doing plan giving.
Yeah.
And so that was my first legal job. And again, I was serving people, I was serving churches, and that service and serving the family of God just went with me into that. And then, of course, when I left headquarters, continuing to serve people and doing wills, trusts, estates, it merged into then serving children through foster care. I represented a lot of children in foster care here in Bradley County courts. And then I moved into elder law. So I'm serving disabled adults now.
Well, that's great. That's great. And it's really a bit of a family affair. So tell us about your husband, what he does. And he's also a Lee graduate as well, correct?
He is. So Darald Schaffer is my husband, and I was a business administration major. He was an accounting major here at Lee. And we were here at the same time. We never met.
Wow,
so we didn't have the Lee.
You didn't have the traditional Lee
no.
story. Yeah. My wife and I don't either. She was, a little bit older than me. I'm not, 3.5 years. Sorry, babe, for sharing that. But yeah, we were both at Lee, but didn't kind of run into each other. Similar stories. So yeah, okay.
We knew all the same people, but had never met. Then I was on the fast track, went on to law school, and was back practicing. And he ended up coming back to the Cleveland, Chattanooga area to take the bar exam, and we met at my local church.
Okay.
So, and it was through a Lee connection that brought him. So we met, and he's been practicing law. We got married, and he's been practicing law here in Bradley County and then Chattanooga. So we both are Lee alum lawyers.
There we go, Lee alum lawyers. I love it. Is there a particular moment in your professional career thus far that really sticks out to you, and you say, that I was glad I was able to do that or help with that, or you mentioned the work that you're able to do, and it really is kingdom work. I mean, it really is helping children in the foster care system, or helping the elderly, or, really making an impact and a difference. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because sometimes lawyers can get a bad rap, and, people can think, well, it's very expensive, and they can, take advantage of certain situations. But you really see it. It sounds like you see that as a ministry, and what the Lord has called you to do. So to talk a little bit about, is there a significant person or moment that really impacted you?
So in my elder law practice, most of the time I get appointed on cases where these people have no one. So they end up, their petition comes before the court because they have no family who is able to serve, and they no longer have the capacity to help themselves. So a petition is filed with the court for helping them as a disabled adult under the law. And so then I get to come in, and I've seen where I've been able to find family members and reconciliate some families to each other. Sometimes I end up just having to serve long term. I have several, I call them my disabled adult children that, I'm legally responsible for their entire life, from their finances to their healthcare decisions. And most recently, I had one who, even though this person has family there, they were not connected for a number of years. And this person had a home, but because of their disability was sleeping on the front porch outside.
Wow.
And this was an emergency situation. I got appointed, and before the first cold snap of this past year, within a few hours time frame, I was able to get that person from sleeping outside, which they probably would have froze to death that night, and in a facility where they are taken care of, and they're very happy now.
Yeah, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, to the point I was making about it being a ministry, and you really taking and caring for people the way Scripture encourages us and instructs us to take care of people. So that's wonderful. When you look back at Lee now, I know you knew Dr. Cook. You're familiar with President Cook. And so what are some of your thoughts as an alum? And you look back and you see, where Lee has come from, how Lee has grown, and what the future holds. And now, of course, Dr. Cook taking over as president. And you're able to be just down the road in Chattanooga and really get to see this up front and close. So what does it look like to you, and what inspires you about the future of Lee?
I think it's so exciting for Dr. Cook to now be our president. He just has always carried the spirit of Lee. He was always the fun.
Oh yeah,
fun. He
Dr. still has
Cook.
that, but
Absolutely.
Now he's great leader.
I just feel a momentum coming back to Lee. Everything ebbs and flows, and I just know that this is an appointed time for Lee and for Dr. Cook, and I'm excited for the future.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about another important position that you hold, and that is the position of being on the Hamilton County Board of Education. So take us through that process. So you've got a great career as a lawyer, you're making a difference, you've got a family, things are going great. Why on earth would anybody want to take on this responsibility, which, I mean, to be honest, carries some headaches that are trite and can make you just want to pull your hair out, and yet you say this is an area I need to serve my community. And so take us through that process.
Well, I can take you to a very specific day.
Okay.
When it was my 40th birthday.
Wow,
and
there you go.
All I ever want on my birthday is just time alone. I want to be home.
Understood. When you get to 40, it's like, that's what I want.
I just want some peace for a moment.
Sure.
So I was at home on my day and in prayer, and the Lord just spoke to me about it. And so it was a moment that I couldn't deny. And I said, okay, Lord, I will do this. I have 3 children. Obviously, in the school system. So I just surrendered and said, okay, Lord, we'll see what this holds. And so I started that journey. Yeah. And through that journey, the Lord just proved faithful. I had 2 challengers, one in my primary and then another in the general. And the Lord provided every penny in my election. Yeah. Really down to the penny and always right on time of what needed to happen. He provided another Lee alum to guide me and take care of me through that process, to advise me, because it was new territory for me.
Sure. Yeah. You had never been, prior to this, never even a thought of entering into, politics or into positions, elected leadership and things of that nature. So this was all new.
It was all brand new.
Okay.
But, again, the family of Lee, those contacts provided me the advice and the expertise that I needed. And so we won that first election, which was huge. And then we went into the general. And again, we won that one, and off we go. And like you said, it's had its challenges. Even most recently, I was all over the paper for
all the right reasons, by the way, Jodi, all the right reasons.
I was elected as the legislative chair for our board. We have 11 members, but I was elected as legislative chair. And in November, I learned that, hey, you're supposed to host all the elected officials for a luncheon or a breakfast and talk about your legislative agenda, which we didn't have at the time. So in December, we passed our legislative agenda, and then I needed to schedule this before all the legislators go to Nashville, right, for session. So we had a very short time period to get it done, but I knew, hey, I know I can get to church. It's during the school day. Schools are full, so I was able to get the church that my brother pastors. My father did pastor, and I knew that that would be free to the taxpayers.
Right.
And we host things in churches all the time, and all other nonprofit organizations.
Of course, yeah.
They're part of the community. They open up their facilities.
Absolutely.
So I was able to do that, and I knew I needed a sound system and all the things, and I knew how to run that sound system myself. So, of course, the church was willing to do it. We got it scheduled. And of being in a church, I asked my brother, who is the current pastor, to open us in prayer.
Sure.
Which is very, again, common. Every county commission meeting, every city council meeting opens in prayer. Other counties, their school board meetings open in prayer. Bradley County, for instance.
County would be a great example of that, yeah.
Hamilton County has not. Our school board has been fairly liberal over the years. Sure. And so they have not subscribed to that, even though being a lawyer, and my husband, who is a constitutional type lawyer,
right.
We did our research. We knew we were well within the bounds of the law. And really, all the way back to the first Constitutional Congress, there was prayer by Benjamin Franklin and John Adams.
Right.
And it's very much part of the history of our nation to have prayer and to seek and call on the wisdom of God as we're talking about legislative matters that govern our people and our country. So I knew that I was well within my bounds legally, and knew it was the right thing to do. So we had our legislative luncheon, and it was amazing. My brother did open in prayer, and then a member of our congregation joined me, and we sang the prayer by Celine Dion and Andrew Bocelli.
Great.
To open it, because
Beautiful
as a good
song,
Church of God member, you always have to have.
There has to be some.
You have to have
song
music.
in there. Yeah, you can't have anything without music.
And so I knew I needed it to be on the classical side.
Yeah.
But that song has always just ministered to me, and the very words of that song, the very first verse, calls on the wisdom of God. Right. Which is the very prayer, again, of the first Constitutional Congress. So I knew there was a lot of historical value in it. So it was a beautiful day. Everyone loved it. Everyone there enjoyed it. I believe there was a few that did not, including the paper. Yeah. And immediately after we were finished, I was cornered by the paper, and I was prepared. I knew what questions they were probably going to ask me, and I knew how to answer them. And so I knew that they were probably going to make an issue out of something that is a non-issue. Right. And they did. And it's all over the paper. So there are some times that you have to do what you're called to do and stand on what's right and let the chips fall where they may be. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you shared that, because we're very proud of you. We're very proud to call you a Lee alum, and we're very proud that you represent and embody, whether it be in the courtroom or whether it be representing or finding a place for someone to live who's sleeping on a porch, or whether it be in making a difference in decisions that are made in Hamilton County schools for our children. You embody what Lee stands for as a Christ-centered institution, and so we wanted to just commend you for that, and give you an opportunity to share that here on our program as well. And, those are the type of things that sometimes you have to face in leadership, and you have to have some thick skin, but I know it's not always easy. And so we just want you to know that we support you in that. But well, thank you. And you've been doing this for how long? You've been serving in this role for? I have 2 more years. Okay. So I'm 2 years into my term. I have 2 more years, and we'll see if the Lord asks me to run again.
Now, there are certain moments like that pop up, but there's also a lot of gratifying moments, I'm sure, in that role as well. And you've been able to really make an impact in that amount of time.
I love being in my school, so I'm very involved in my district, which is like the East Brainerd, East Hamilton area of Chattanooga. And, of course, I have 3 kids in the schools. So I'm in the schools a lot. I'm excited to talk about opportunities and building, academic and athletic and extracurricular growth. I really do enjoy that. I enjoy pushing the academic rigor in our schools and trying to do what is best and right for students.
Yes.
Removing barriers for students.
Absolutely. It's all about the students, and we appreciate the great work you're doing in Hamilton County. Before we let you go, though, you mentioned athletics. I got to let you talk about your daughter. I know you're very proud of her. She's a stud basketball player, and so you spend a lot of time in the gym as well, right?
Oh, in the gym every day. So Lily takes after my father, who that vintage Viking.
Played for Coach Hughes, right, back in the day?
He
Dale
did.
Hughes, yeah.
He did. Lily is better than I ever was at her age in basketball. So we're a basketball family. We love it. And she has taken a liking to it. And we've spent a lot of time in the gym. She is a 2031 7th grader.
There you go.
And I think she's well on her way it is her goal to play basketball at the next level. And I think she's well on her way. She got an invitation today, I have to say, to be on the all-star team for the state of Tennessee middle school to compete against a team in Kentucky. So we got that invitation today, and she works hard every day. That's the biggest thing I can say about it, is it's developing a very much hard work ethic in her, that nothing's given to us. We have to work hard, and we do our job, and the Lord will do the rest.
That's great advice. Well, Jodi, thank you so much for joining us. Jodi Schaffer, whether it's, like I said, in the courtroom as a lawyer, whether it's on the Hamilton County School Board, or just being a mom and a wife and all the responsibilities that come with that, you do it with grace and excellence, and we are proud to call you a Lee alum and proud to have you on one of the very first episodes. We're just launching this. We've only had a few episodes, and we're glad that you got a chance to sit on the couch and talk with us.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching this edition of the Forever Aflame podcast. Keep it locked in here. We'll have some more great guests as we amplify our alumni stories and talk about the difference that our alumni are making in their communities and in this world. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.